Why, hello there. It's me, your favorite Professor Pincushion. Today we're going to be talking about sewing machine troubleshooting and how to maintain your sanity. Let's face it, we've all been here. Oh, you little... I'm so mad right now! Oh my, loved ones may want to stay out of the room for those moments. So, if your sewing machine is acting up, grab a cup of calming tea and let's talk about what you can do to have a better relationship with your sewing machine. The good news is that most of the time, machine problems are caused by user error and not because the machine is broken. The bad news is you have to figure out what that error is, and sometimes that takes a while. Always have plenty of your fabric scraps available so you have something to test on. Okay, so for me, the first thing I do when my stitches are just looking awful, I take out all the thread and rethread the machine. It's very important that you thread your machine exactly how it's shown in your manual. If it's been a while since you've used your machine, give yourself a refresher. Even though I've threaded my machine 1,000 times, I still make mistakes, and a lot of times rethreading can easily fix the issue. While threading, make sure the needle is in the highest position and the presser foot is up. After you finish threading, gently pull the threads and they should pull through without a struggle. If it's really hard to pull through, chances are you did something wrong. You should also take a look at your bobbin. Your thread should be on your bobbin so it looks neat and even. If it looks like this one, you might have issues and might want to redo the bobbin thread. Also, if you're almost out of thread, sometimes that gives me issues as well. When putting the bobbin in the machine, you'll also want to make sure you're threading it correctly, so check your manual. One thing that can affect your stitches is the needle. A bad needle can give you skip stitches or broken stitches. Even if the needle seems fine, there could be something wrong with it. The rule of thumb is that you should replace your needle at the beginning of a new project. If you've been using the same needle for a year now, shame, shame, that's probably what your problem is. An old needle, a bent needle, or a nicked needle is going to give you problems. When all else fails, replace the needle with a shiny new one. You also want to make sure you're using the correct type of needle. There are different needles made for different types of fabric and fabric weights. Using a sharp needle on your knit instead of a ballpoint could affect your stitches. Check out our sewing machine needle video for a more in-depth look at this. Next, let's talk about tension. On my machine, I have upper thread tension, bobbin tension, and presser foot tension. The thread and bobbin tension affect how tightly the upper and lower threads are locking together. If the thread tension is too tight, it creates puckering or thread breakage. If it's too loose, the threads look like a hot mess and won't hold the fabric pieces together well. Check out our sewing machine thread tension video if you need help with this. The presser foot tension controls how much pressure the foot is putting on the fabric. You don't want it to press down on your fabric too hard or not support the fabric at all. With all tension, it's about finding the balance. We have a tutorial on presser foot tension which can help you out if you need it. We can't talk about stitches without talking about thread. Are you excited about picking up a garbage bag full of thread for a quarter at Grandma's yard sale? Well, that might not have been a great bargain. Believe it or not, thread does have a shelf life. If it's too old, it might break easily. You also want to use the good quality thread in your sewing machine, not the cheap stuff in the bargain bin. Cheap thread is cheap, but it might be leaving thread fibers inside your machine. This starts to build up and could affect your machine's performance. Show your machine some love and spring for the good stuff. Not only can the thread fibers go inside the machine as it's racing through all the hooks and discs, but you're also getting fabric fibers in the machine when you sew, especially in the base of the machine. And we're not even talking about the general dust from just sitting around. Have you ever opened your machine and saw the little dust bunnies in there? Yeah, it's disgusting, and it could be the source of your problems. What can you do about it? You can watch our sewing machine maintenance video to learn how you can do some of the cleaning yourself. You can also watch our sewing machine cover tutorial to make a handy cover to keep the dust off. Is your fabric not feeding through at all? Check to make sure that you didn't accidentally put your feed dogs down, or check that your stitch length isn't at such a low number it seems like it's hardly moving. Do you get a thread nest at the beginning of your seams? Make sure that you hold your thread tails for at least a few stitches. Otherwise, if you don't hold them, they sometimes get sucked back into the machine. Have you done everything and your fabric is just a pain in the neck with puckering? Try stabilizing the fabric by cutting a strip of tissue paper and putting it in between the fabric and foot. It works like magic, and then you can tear the paper off after your seam. If after all of this you still can't get your machine to work properly or it's making a horrible racket, take it to a professional. Find a local sewing and vac shop and schedule a sewing machine maintenance for a full tune-up. You should be doing this once a year, and it doesn't matter if you used your brand new sewing machine once and then it sat in a closet for the next 5 years. It might still need a tune-up when you drag it out again. I hope this helps, and remember, let's not take a hammer to our sewing machine, but instead try to love and understand it. Happy sewing! We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe to get notified of our weekly releases. Also check out ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 350 sewing tutorials. If you would like to directly support us, you can check out our Patreon campaign and earn some exclusive perks. Thanks for watching.